Nice rainy day, thunder in my little bear cave. Nice. So, howdy everyone. This is not driving with Mr. Grizzly because, as you see, I'm not driving. But you're still on the right page if you're here for Mr. Grizzly's universe. And I am still everyone's favorite middle school math teacher. So, what should we talk about? Well, I posed that question in a post, I think, a couple weeks ago. And within that post, I think, anyway, and within that post, I had two people respond. One was my son, and he said, talk about things from the 80s and 90s, and the other person was my friend that agreed with him. So, let's talk about, I guess, my memories from the 80s and 90s. And I think we'll start off with one of my earliest memories from the 80s, and we'll go from there. So when I was about 5 or 6, so this would have been about 81, maybe 81, 82, probably more 1981. And I remember I was outside playing, and I was with my pet, my dog. I don't remember the dog's name. But we were outside playing, and I remember my mom had to step in and get something. Well, I remember my dog going into the woods where I lived at the time, and I still live here. It's very wooded. It's got a lot of trees. I live on a wooded lot of land. And I remember my dog going off into the woods, and then I remember very vaguely, I remember hearing something in the woods, a voice in the woods telling me to come to the woods, come play. And I thought, well, my dog went into the woods. I'll go into the woods also. So I went into the woods, and my dog, came to me when I went to the woods. We was walking around, and and I was just walking, having fun, because this was like new territory to me. I wasn't scared for some reason. You'd think being at 5 or 6, I'd be scared, but I wasn't scared. And I remember walking into the woods, and I just remember being in awe. It was like something wonderful, something magical to me at the time. And I, was, I guess, exploring. And I just kept getting deeper and deeper into the woods. And then, obviously, I don't know how much time had passed. It couldn't have been long. I remember hearing my mom's voice in the distance yelling, my name out. And I'm, screaming back to her. And I was trying to get my way back to the house, but I couldn't find my way back. So yes, I had gotten lost. So yes, then I started panicking. And I remember trying to go to the woods, and every time I take here and I go there, I would see stuff that looked familiar, and I'm thinking to myself, this looks like something I went by when I came in, so if I go this way, maybe I'll be in the right direction. Well, that was wrong. So I remember going into the woods and panicking. And my dog stayed with me the whole time. Dogs would do that. I can't remember. Like I said, I can't remember my pet's name at the time. But I kept getting deeper and deeper into the woods. And I remember one point, there was this big old, drop off. There's a big old, me being 5 years old, little, it seemed like a valley. I went down in it and went back up the other side, and And I'm really scared now. I'm panicking. And that voice that I heard that told me coming to the woods, never heard it again. So, Lord knows, maybe I was outside eating shrooms. I don't know. But anyway, going out into the woods. And then it was getting dark. Now, mind you, when I went into the woods, it was still a pretty good bit of daylight. This would have been summer. But then it started getting daylight. And I was going out and it's just walking around, trying to find my way out, trying to find this and that, just something. How I didn't find my neighbor's house. I do have neighbors, it's just they're a little bit further down. I don't know how I didn't come across them or their house or anything. And then I was walking around. And then I noticed this big open area that was fenced off. So I got through the fence. And I had two choices because it was a big open land. It was clear to my left, clear to my right. And I don't know what made me decide to go right, but I did. So I went to my right. So, and I did at least know to stay in that big open area because you go a little bit further, it was wooded again. So we're walking, me and my pet. We're walking. I'm getting tired. And we're walking. It's done pretty much dark, And then, as I keep walking, I notice that I'm seeing like lights in the distance. And I was like, okay, that's a good thing. So I'm walking. And eventually I get to another fence and the car goes by. And then it stops and backs up. And it turns out that was my dad. And I'm trying to get to the fence, and he pulls me to the fence, and obviously mad at me. I don't blame him. And I had actually found the road that we do not live near, okay? That road is far, especially the part I came out on. And then I remember, they found me. Got back home. I remember my mom, she whooped me. She whooped me for running off, and she says she whooped me for several days, every day afterwards. I don't remember that. That's a total mind blank. It's funny what your mind will blank out. But I do also remember Danny, one of my neighbors, showing up and like, y'all found him? Yeah, my dad, yeah. And yeah, the neighbors were looking for me. The ones at the very end of the road, the ones that live next to me, and all that. And I remember, I don't remember the whoopings afterwards, but I remember that, and that, number one, I was having fun up until it started getting dark. So I started hearing my mom call for me, and I couldn't get back to her. But I remember also thinking that was I guess a fun little journey I had, because when I got older and was able to get my bearings and landmarks down, understood that, I tried to find these spots again down in my woods, but I never could find them again. And I think, and I guess the takeaway from that is, number one, whatever I was hearing calling my name, like I said, maybe I was eating shrooms out there and I'm like, whoo, voices. I don't know. I was like 5 years old, maybe 6. First off, we had only been living on this property at the time for like maybe a little over a year. But I think it shows how different things were from the 80s to now, because in the 80s, that happened a lot. Maybe not getting lost in the woods, but what I mean by is sometimes you can leave your child for just a little bit and be fine, and you're a little bit more trusting of your surroundings. Whereas now, wouldn't dare do that. Wouldn't dare have your child out of sight. And I don't blame them. I'm a father myself. And when they were little, I always, you know, kept them in my sight and all. And I think it just shows a difference in times also. Because, yeah, everybody was looking for me. And I think nowadays, if someone was missing, would the neighborhood look for that child? I would hope so. But I also kind of feel like everybody's in such a hurry nowadays that would they take that time out? And I don't know, it's one of my earliest memories of this area. You know, another early memory I have is meeting my best friend for the first time. This was like around here. This was but maybe a few months after we moved here. There was a fire down the road. When I say down the road, I mean a dirt road. Because this was a dirt road for decades. There's a fire down the dirt road, and they were standing out there, and we were so new, I didn't know anybody yet. And then there was this little girl there. She was like a year older than me. And our two families started talking. And I started talking to the girl, you know, like little child, hey, you know, this and that. And then we grew up to a certain point. We stayed best friends, but then things happened and all that. So, and I don't know where she's at nowadays. But I just wanted to express that. And, you know, I think what I'll do for this particular playlist is talk about stuff from the 80s and 90s. Stuff that I remember from my viewpoint. Things that are different now than they were back then. You know, so just like, it's true when they say, you stayed out until dark until your parents called you or until the lights came on. That was plenty of times that happened. And I could be all the way down at my best friend's house, which is, you know, pretty far. And I hear my mom call my name. I thought, oh, well, I gotta go. And as far as to walking through the woods and all that, that was a lot because I had actually managed to went pretty far down the road through the woods. Like I said, how I didn't somehow turn and get to one of my neighbor's house, I don't know. To a cow pasture. That big opening was a cow pasture. And that cow pasture is pretty far. It's like a half mile from me. And then to go back to the road, not the dirt road, but the other road that we have around here, is about another, actually a little over half a mile. And how I managed all that, I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed my story. And I hope you come back for more 80s and 90s content. And since I'm already at the house, so I'm not about to hit the driveway, welcome to my bear cave. I hope you had a good time in here. And if you don't mind, could you please like this video and subscribe to my channel? It'd be so much appreciated. I'm still trying to reach 1,000 followers. Like I said, I take it baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. And even though this isn't Driving with Mr. Grizzly, I still want you to know that from your favorite middle school math teacher, that's me, 1 + 1 is 2. Welcome. I don't know, I gotta think of an outro, don't I? How about from my bear cave to you, you're invited anytime. Till then.